So before we get started, I would like to ask that you guys download the world's schematics I have down underneath this video. Basically, so you can have a copy of the cannon, so you can see what happens when you fire it. So you can see all the different parts of it. It's basically so you can learn something from it, or even use it. I feel like there is an imbalance between raiding and base building at the moment, and so I'm hoping that me putting this information out there will promote some sort of change from the servers to keep the activity, keep the game sustainable. So right here, I have this schematic called Left Slab 12. This was made back in, I want to say October or so. It was an evolution of a specific cannon I was working on. It works pretty well. It is a 230 one-shot cannon, so it slab busts, stacks, and hybrids at the same time. In addition to that, it is a left shooter. So as you see here, I do have the left shooting attachment put on, which is something I made almost, I would say, back in June is when I got this really set up. So 230 one-shot cannon with a left shooter. It has been skidded, copied, stolen, sold. It's pretty common out there now. It's been used by my faction. It's been used by Spoobies to raid me. It's been used by HNG to raid factions, or a very similarly derived cannon. Recently, it was used by Goodfellows on Woodycraft. It is used by Insidious on Woodycraft. It is used by Innovate on Vortex PvP. It's out there, and it's been used to great success on a bunch of different servers. So just to break down some of how this works, of course, got the mandatory button here. As the current goes through, the sand compressor here, which was created by Disaster in June. This is completely his idea, dropping things down. So if you see any of this arrived, or see this anywhere, it's been basically derived from Disaster himself. So in addition to that, sand pools down while these boosters are ignited. As that's warming up, the rest of the cannon is firing and dispensing. So we got the booster there, main power here. This large hammer is obviously the hammer. Right here is the slab bus, and here we have the hybrid sand. Break it down more into what's going on with the cannon. Right here, these two quick pulses are going to quick pulse this piston floor. So when we have, let me paste in the sand real quick. So we've got here, we have the piston bed with the cobwebs. So the sand is going to collect down into those cobwebs there. And this quick pulse is going to go off as those dispensers back there ignite and fire off. Then going to pool into here, which is then going to fire in here. It's going to land about here or so as the cannon fires, so you do not need another set of cobwebs. Right here is where the slab bust would be. This slab bust is used for full shot, or full stacking, hybriding, stacking, etc. So it is actually the same timing as this hammer, but happens later in the sequence. I'll go over that in a bit more. So then we have, of course, the hammer here. This is the hybrid scatter. And then right here is the piston that pushes that into the barrel. And then here we do have the, I use red sand, but it's the hybrid sand. What happens is the sand gets pushed here. And then with how this is wired, that piston's going to push that down as the sand is falling. That piston there pushes it out as an entity, so it is then aligned to the side. Right here, I do have the left shooting portion. I'll cover that more in a couple seconds. So with the cannon, it's a repeater cannon. I prefer using repeaters for the most part. I do have some boosters here with torches, just as a sake of convenience. So this cannon, I do have it generally set up to shoot between 25, 35, 40 chunks, just about whenever I use it on gun controller. So this timing here is normally what you'd want it set for when shooting most bases with pretty much as built like such. You could take off some timing, something like that. You need to mess with the specifics and see what would happen. With the current setup, you'll see what happens with the hammer, slab bust, etc. when it explodes and how far it shoots. So here, that's where where the hammer is going to explode, which is pretty far distance. I'll break down the numbers in a second. As we keep going, there we have the slab bust, which is going to shoot further because it's closer to the main power. Right there is going to be where the first charge of the left shooter explodes. I'll go into that later again. And then there's where the second charge is going to happen. So actually going through and firing the cannon, just shooting it off into the distance to see where things explode. See everything ticking off, the piston floors, etc. So just confirming right there, we got the hammer exploding. Then we have the slab bust there. And then those two which I have not shot yet. All right, so quickly turn it on left shooting and discussing that. We got that on, so that is the two separately timed charges, one of 2 TNT, the other of 13. As you'll see, the dispensing there. 2 different timings. That's part of the reason why it works. I'll get more into the actual left shooting and how my specific method works in perhaps another video. So hammered in. Slab bust as previously. So that was the first charge, and that's the second charge. So right here I have the revised version of the new left slab 12. It's labeled as new left slab 12R for the saves and the schematic. I will dig into that more in the second part of this video sort of thing, so look for the part 2. And really I'll break down left shooting with this cannon and sort of like as a tutorial kind of thing with that. So go check out the other video.